Thank you so much, San Antonio. Well, questions? Yes, sir.
17 years is a long fucking time. Most sequels don't top themselves. This did. Good, right?
Yes, sir.
This is more of a thank you. Y'all built a legacy. And like you, I come from 5 generations of Southern Baptist ministers, of which I was the Southern Baptist music director. So, and Good Friday, my parents came from Mississippi to spend time with me at my church, Christ Episcopal, which is where I direct music. But what follows many of us, and I'm sure you can understand this, as many of you can, that the voices that we were hearing from the people in the church, I still hear those voices. And I still heard them from my parents having dinner after we'd been to church together. And what you did tonight, or showed us tonight, gives me courage to keep moving. So thank you.
Thank you.
Something always goes wrong. So what almost didn't happen in making this movie?
Well, it almost didn't get made. Just the fact to raise that kind of money. I mean, you know, and the real, for part 2, the real challenge, the beauty shop scene that took place inside where Sissy and Vera have their big confrontation was supposed to happen on the street in front of the beauty shop, back and forth. When we arrived in Winnipeg, the day of the wedding, it was 85 degrees, and a week and a half later, when we shot the Beehive, it was 30 degrees outside. There were snow flurries. There is an establishing shot of a Beehive where Sissy and Latrell get out of the car, and Roger says, "Y'all come on in," and you can see the snow in the shot. So that entire scene, and I love it, and I love what Dale Dickey does as Sissy in that scene. I think it's just amazing. Change the entire setup of the scene, and you just sort of, hey, make it work.
It actually, you know, sometimes there was another one that we had to move indoors because of weather, and it was when Latrell first met the pastor, and that was originally set up outside. And sometimes I think that the universe kind of conspires to make things right, and I love that scene so much. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where it is in that church that where her journey starts kind of there, where she starts putting it all together. And then about Billy Joe, so you fell in love with a serial killer, did you? Yeah. It's like someone told me that in Palm Springs. They said, "I cannot believe you made me feel passion and compassion for a serial killer."
Mainly his acts, but his story. You made him a beautiful character.
Thank you. Well, look, true actors, listen to this. Writing, directing, and with the actor is a collaboration. He also made it a beautiful character. That was amazing work. One of the best actors I've ever worked with, right here. You know, a lot of actors, they come and they don't know their lines on the set. They're lazy. He never misses a word. He never misses a word, and he never misses a feeling. All right, yes.
So many characters were smokers. How many of the actors are actually non-smokers? How many are former smokers? And how many are smokers?
Well, I mean,
Caroline Ray, I'll tell you the ones who are not, because I don't want to indict the ones that are, but Caroline Ray is not a smoker.
Well, Sarah Hunley definitely was.
Yeah, she died with a cigarette in her hand. She did. She fell down and hit her. The crazy, ironic thing about Sarah's death was we got back. She literally took out the trash, and she tripped, fell, hit her head, had a subdural hematoma, just like Peggy in the original movie, and passed on. And she had a very, the doctor literally said he had never seen a living will like she had. That she carried in her purse. So when they got to the hospital, it was there. They called, I'm in Nashville, and her niece said, we're flying because they said that we have to get there because they're going to take her off of life support. And her niece calls me from the hospital, and she turned on not Spotify, the other one, Pandora, to the country station, and Willie Nelson started singing "Will the Circle Be Unbroken," and she passed away. Yes.
It's a two-part question. The first one is how much of what we saw was ad-lib and not from the script? And the second part is I would like to know how Leslie Gordon is working.
Well, I feel like Sean Spicer with these two-part questions, but I remember both parts. Since he doesn't.
Just don't bring up Hitler.
Look, I will tell you, the genius of Dale's writing is that he writes the way real people talk. The lines are not ad-libbed, and when people mess them up, we correct them, and it starts over. It's really the brilliance of what he writes is how people talk. You stop in the middle of a sentence, have another thought, 5 minutes later, come back to that thought. So it really is the writing. And the second part.
So I don't allow ad-libbing. I really don't. I want them to know their lines.
Yeah. And then the second part is Leslie is exactly what you would expect. Is hilarious and ridiculous, and for me, personally, not as the producer but as the actor, the most challenging thing to be on screen opposite Leslie Jordan and think I have to hold my own here. But I realized in this movie that there is definitely one moment in the movie that I definitely get to steal focus from Leslie Jordan, but it took putting my soft focus asshole on camera to do it.
Look, Leslie and I have been working together for 30 years. There's a complicated friendship, and I love him, and he is truly the best comedic actor and a wonderful dramatic actor as well. My work would be so much less without Leslie Jordan. So, yes.
Yes, sir.
Just two things again. I didn't expect to have so much, depth about the family and the mom. You know, I just think it was going to be really funny. So, what was your thought about that message? I thought that was really nice.
About the
how she changed and.
Oh, the evolution. Well, I tell you what, the last time I was in San Antonio, I met a very good friend of mine, Shirley, at the airport, and we drove to Zapata for our 40th class reunion. And I don't think Shirley would mind me telling this story. Shirley did not come to my wedding to my ex-husband, and because it conflicted with her religious beliefs, which I was not aware. I thought because she had hung out with me, and I thought everything was fine. And we didn't speak for a couple of years as a result of that. And then she kept doing research on my behalf. And she called me one day, or she sent me an email actually, and she said, "Will you forgive me? My heart has been changed, and I was basically in a cult my whole life, and this is where I am now, and I cannot live any longer without you being my friend."
Amen.
And so she's actually in the Rose Room scene, and on January 9th she passed away. Just unexpectedly, just out of nowhere. But she had so much to do, and not just her, but so many people that were within who had different views, and who, by us, just this is who we are. And they saw this rather than, what's there. So I wanted to show those people who are evolving.
I want to thank you for writing the character of Bertrell, because that's my mother. And you made room to not look at people who don't understand right away, to not look at them with fear and rejection back. And it's just so beautiful to see my mom's story. Because my mom was there opening night. So, and at first she was so afraid of a gay son. And those voices need to be heard too, because they can't be fighting all the time. And I just say thank you so much for having that wisdom and the grace to write such a great character.
You're welcome.
It was certainly based on that
And my mother became an ally for me, and before she passed away here in San Antonio. And she's buried here in San Antonio, actually. So San Antonio has a very special place for me. And this was my fantasy of what she would have become. So. Yes, Bert.
Logistically, how did you shoot a full movie? Did
real fast. It is a blessing of, many of these actors know these characters really well, and they're all phenomenally talented. And we worked with a company in Winnipeg called Buffalo Gal Pictures, and they had an incredible crew between the DP and Dell. Every morning it was, okay, these are the things that we have to accomplish, but it is mind-boggling looking backwards that our low-budget indie film has 32 actors in it, and we shot it in 15 days.
With 2 cameras as well. We shot it all
That's
times
hard. We shoot
with
cross
all.
coverage.
With
That's
two.
important.
She is my friend. I directed her in my 3rd play. No, I didn't direct her. Someone else directed that play. I should have directed that play. Daughters of the Lone Star State, 1993. She's from Abilene, Texas. She's 93 years old, and she was 92 when we filmed, and she hit those lines like any young person. She's brilliant, and I just called her and I said, "Hey, Carol, I want to write you as Nolita's mother," and she said, "Well, I'll have to read the script," and then she said, "Not really, I'll take it."
We thank you all so much for coming. We want to say a huge thank you again to George and the Playhouse San Antonio, and very seriously, buy your tickets to see You're in Town. The code that Courtney gave us was Sordid Town for your $10 off tickets at theplayhousesa.org, right?